Tell about your grandparents and your grandma running over your grandpa.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's about as bad. My grandma, she was mean to my grandpa. And he was educated. He had some kind of college degree. He had the best John Hancock handwriting you ever seen.
Wow.
Wrote real bold. And I tell you how tough he was. His teeth got bad, and he sat down with a pair of pliers and pulled his own teeth.
Oh.
And he smoked a pipe. And when he lit it, he didn't let up till it was run out of tobacco. So he'd puff that pipe. And he stunk, never back.
Whoa.
And my grandma, she didn't allow him to eat at the dining table with everybody else.
Were they here in Texas or somewhere else?
In El Campo, Texas.
Oh, in El Campo, Texas. Okay.
Well, when I was a kid, we lived on a farm about
Yeah,
10
outside.
miles out in the country.
Okay.
And they lived up on the corner, and we lived down the road about a half a mile. But I went down there because I was always following my grandpa around, getting him to tell me stories. He'd tell me old stories. And I followed him around everywhere he went. And my grandma, she didn't allow him to eat with everybody else. She had a little table in the kitchen that he ate on.
Is
And
that because he smelled?
huh?
Is that because he smelled?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and she just would run on him. She fussed at him all the time. And one time when I was a little old kid, I must have been 3 or 4 years old. My daddy and my grandpa was pulling corn by hand and throwing it in a trailer. And my grandma was driving this old Model A and pulling that trailer. And she'd pull up, and my grandpa was on one side of that trailer, and my daddy was on the other, and they were pulling corn, throwing it in this trailer. And I was walking around with them. And I was about 3 or 4 years old. I barely remember it. And every once in a while, these wasps would build a nest under one of them corn shucks.
Oh, yeah.
When they grabbed that man, them wasps would sting them. And my daddy would get a little bit of gasoline, throw on them and light them, kill them. Then they'd go pulling corn again. Well, when we got to the end, the road was up high and the field was down. They built the road up.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma drove that old Model A up that road to turn around, and when she did, my grandpa just moved over where they were, and he was pulling some corn, throwing it in a little pile that when she got there, he could throw it over in it.
Right.
And she turned around on that road, and when she went off that road with that trailer load of corn, she couldn't stop it. Because the old Model A had mechanical brakes, and he was in front of her. And she run right over the top of it. And he was up underneath that old Model A, kicking and hollering, and she was cussing. You son of a bitch, you ought to get out of the goddamn way. And she finally got the old Model A stopped. And she was on top of him. He was on there kicking. I figured it killed him. But my daddy drug him out from under there and skinned him on the back, skinned him on the side of the head. But he wasn't nothing broke. So we went on to pulling corn.
Pulling more corn.
Oh.
And I told Mama that, and she don't believe it. But that really happened.
Grandma Heidi was a lot
She cussed
nicer in
him
her
out.
old age then.
she cussed him out for getting in the way.